this series. So today we are going to be doing facts about Australia. I've started getting like a ton of requests now, so I have a lot of countries to film, and I think I'm going to be filming quite a few of these videos today, but the first is Australia. So as always, I'm going to start out with some more basic facts about the country, and then we'll do some like fun, interesting facts. So let's get started. The official name is the Commonwealth of Australia. The government of Australia is a democracy. The population is about 25.5 million. I think I actually thought it was more than that. That's not that high. The urban population of Australia is about 90%. So I guess 90% of citizens live in urban areas, is what that means. The capital of Australia is Canberra, with a population of 462,000. The currency of Australia is the Australian dollar. The most common religion in Australia is Christianity. There are 3 time zones in Australia. The national animals of Australia are the kangaroo and the emu. And the last basic fact is that the national anthem is called Advance Australia Fair. Okay, so now we're gonna do some more like interesting facts. Australia has more kangaroos than people. There are over 10,000 beaches in Australia. Melbourne, Australia, has the largest Greek population outside of Greece. That's interesting. The Australian Alps get more snow than Switzerland. Very cool. Australia is the smallest continent. Australia has 8 states. These are Queensland, New South Wales, the Australian Capital Territory, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania, and the Northern Territory. Australia has 160 spoken languages. Although Australia has no official language, the considered official language is English. 160 languages, that's quite a bit. Tasmania, Australia, has the cleanest air in the world. Fraser Island, Australia, has the largest sand island in the world. Sand island. Like a sandbar, I guess. The Indian Pacific Train of Australia is the longest straight section of train tracks in the world. Interesting. Australians eat kangaroo meat and crocodile meat. Is that something that like all Australians do? liters of beer per year. There are 8 sheep for every person in Australia. Australia discovered a fish in the year 2015 and named it blue bastard. Australia has more camels than Egypt. I always think those facts are interesting when it's like something that's like all you think of for a specific country, but it's like, oh, this country actually has more of that. Australia has the world's longest golf course, measuring more than 850 miles long. That's a pretty big golf course. Australia is home to 21 of the world's 25 most venomous snakes. From this, I'm gathering that Australia has a lot of animals. A lot more animals than humans. Perth is the only city in the world which can have aircraft land in its CBD. Australia is even bigger than you think. It's almost the same size as mainland USA. It actually has a picture of Australia like overlapping the United States. But I feel like I almost thought Australia was larger than that. I don't know. The largest cattle station in the world is located in Australia, and it's bigger than Israel. Australia is ranked second on the Human Development Index, which takes into account a long and healthy life, knowledge, and a decent standard of living. 4 out of 5 Aussies live less than 50 kilometers from the coastline. That's pretty crazy. Each week, there are an estimated 70 tourists that overstay their visas. Former Prime Minister Bob Hawke set a world record for sculling 2.5 pints of beer in 11 seconds. Hawke later suggested that this was the reason for his great political success. The first police force in Australia was made up of the most well-behaved convicts. It would take around 29 years to visit one new Australian beach every day. Wow, that's crazy. I doubt anyone has ever been to every Australian beach. The Great Barrier Reef is the planet's largest living structure. It even has its own post office box. The Great Barrier Reef does. That's funny. Australia's capital city, Canberra, meant women's cleavage in Aborigine, and was named that because the city is cradled between 2 mountains. You learn something new every day. I don't know if that's Aborigine. That's not how it looks, though. I don't know. In Canberra, it's legal to film hardcore porn, and selling the end product has been made legal in the city. was invented to keep cricketers fit in the off-season. There are claims that the game may have been influenced by indigenous Australians. The world's largest rock is not actually Uluru, but Mount Augustus in Western Australia. There are 60 wine regions in Australia. Around 1.3 billion liters of wine are produced each year in Australia. See, that's another thing, is like you don't think of Australia when you think of wine, but it is the 6th largest country in the world. Australia ranks 56th in the world in terms of broadband speed. Interesting. There are 1 million camels that roam wild Australia's deserts, the largest number of purebred camels in the world. Australia exports its camels to the Middle East. The wombat deposits square poops. That was a fact in another one of my videos that I filmed recently. You can fly from Perth to Melbourne faster than you can fly from one end of Western Australia to the other. Okay. Melbourne was briefly called Batmania. You can still visit Batman Park in Melbourne. A baby kangaroo is only about 2 centimeters long when it's born. Oh, that's so tiny. What? There are over 60 different types of kangaroos. Kangaroo meat can be purchased from the supermarket and is known to be a leaner and healthier alternative to beef or lamb, with a 1 to 2% fat content. I can't imagine going to the grocery store and just seeing kangaroo. An Australian election TV debate was rescheduled so it didn't conflict with the finale of reality cooking show MasterChef. I love that. I love you, Australia. An Australian man once tried to sell New Zealand on eBay with a starting price of 1 cent. What? It is a known fact that wallabies like to break into opium crops, get high, and run around in circles to create a crop circle. That's also a great fact. A gay bar in Melbourne won the legal right to ban women from the bars because they made the men uncomfortable. That's weird. Moomba. I'm not gonna read that one. Several of these have been kind of inappropriate, and I think that one's too far. Aboriginal culture is the oldest culture on Earth. Western Australia is home to a number of pink lakes. It actually has a picture of one, and it's like Pepto-Bismol pink. Interesting. Australia Christmas lights on a house. Over 500,000. Wow. Australia's richest woman, Gina Reinhardt, earns $1 million every 2 hours. I can't even comprehend people that are that rich. 91% of the country is covered by native vegetation. Australia invented the world's first seatbelt law in 1970. 33% of Australians were born in another country. Over 300 different languages and dialects are spoken in Australia, including 45 indigenous languages. Wow, in fact, 21% of Australians don't speak English at home. That's a lot. I didn't know that. But I guess there's probably quite a few Americans that don't speak English at home either. Vegemite was created by leftover yeast used to create beer. So that's why it tastes so good. I've never had Vegemite, and I think I'm okay with not having it. Let's see. People have lived in Australia for 65,000 years. Let's see, some of these are like repeats. Uluru stretches for 15 miles underground. Wow, that's crazy. Australia has the world's longest war memorial. The 150-mile-long Great Ocean Roads, dedicated to the country's servicemen who died during World War I. Many of these soldiers helped construct this important thoroughfare that stretches along Australia's southern coast. Very cool. Let's see, this is amazing animal facts about Australia. One of the most interesting facts about Australia is that 90% of its indigenous species occur nowhere else. Some of these include the koala, kangaroo, dingo, echidna, wallaby, platypus, and wombat. Wow, all of those animals are only found in Australia. I don't think I knew that. The Great Barrier Reef sweeps along the western shore of Australia and boasts over 3,000 individual reefs. It's the only living thing on Earth visible from space. Very cool. And it says that it includes 1,500 fish species, 134 different kinds of sharks, and most of the world's rarest turtle species. That's a lot. Let's see. Again, some repeats. Sydney Opera House exceeds expectations. The Opera House is one of Australia's most iconic sites and attracts over 10 million visitors every year. The beautiful building's designed to look like a sailing boat and is the brainchild of a Danish architect. Let's see. Originally, the budget to construct the Sydney Opera House was $7 million over 4 years. 14 years and $102 million later, the Opera House opened its doors. The building comprises 1 million roof tiles was the first English speaking country that I did, but I did do Canada, so it's not. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know of any countries that you want to see. I do have like a lot that are coming. I need to do like Belgium, Poland, Germany, Sweden, Namibia. Yeah, those are all countries that I have on my list, so they are coming. But yeah, let me know any other countries that you want to see, and I will see you in my next video. So sleep well and